Welcome, 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 welcome to the Bye Bye Podcast. Yay!
We are here.
Oh my God, I have a very, very beautiful human being today with me. His name is Ryan. I've actually known Ryan for about a year now, and our friendship has morphed into something so beautiful that I'm grateful he's in my life. He's a man full of wisdom. And I can't wait to connect to his story, his wisdom, but most importantly, the human being Ryan. Ryan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, love. Doing well. I hope that you are. I mean, you. I don't know if you wear the same shirt every day or not, but that is your motto. Life is fun, and so I've learned so much from you as well. You stay in my ear about Ryan. Just have fun. Ryan, just be in the present, right? And so, like, yeah, love it. The feeling, the respect, the admiration is mutual. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Yay! Now, speaking of fun, I'm going to start this
Yeah.
podcast by asking you, what does Ryan do for fun?
You love to ask me that question. Um, I mean, it's always interesting. Like, to me, life is fun, and life is, um, this ball of so many different things, right? So, for me, fun is when I decide to just go out. Just looking out here, go out in my yard. Like the other day, I was blowing leaves. That's fun to me. Pick my boys up from school and. Wherever I'm at, whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to have fun, right? If it's with the wife, it's even in business, it's not always fun, right? Let's just be real. But if I had to say, okay, I'm going to go have some fun. What am I going to do, right? It might be at the golf course, but sometimes that's not fun either if I'm not hitting the ball good, right? So it really just depends. I mean, again, if I had to package it, it's probably, you know, just deciding that I'm going to get away, and so then the anticipation of that, and then while I'm away, I'm still struggle with turning it all the way off, because again, even when I'm away, thinking about how I can have impact and serve other people, it's fun, right? And so, but I do really enjoy getting away, traveling, having this destination, just kind of go and explore. That's really fun for me.
Ah, fuck yes, fuck yes. That actually leads me to my next question. From your perspective, how do you define freedom?
Wow, I mean, the simplest, most uh, uh, you know, radio language, kindergarten way I know to say it is to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, however long you want to do it, with whoever you want to do it with, right? Like freedom is just removing the boundaries of time, of money, of other people's opinions and views, right? It is really just, it's being present, enjoying the moment without the confines, right? And so, yeah, being able to move as you choose, come and go as you choose, think as you choose, but without the limitations, that sometimes finances bring, that sometimes time brings, or lack of time brings, that sometimes, again, the expectations of others bring. And so it's certainly an evolution, but to me, freedom is just that elimination, removal of the boundaries in the different areas of our lives.
Thank you. I know you're a book lover. I know you
Mhm.
love to read books a lot. What are five books that has evolved your thinking over the years?
Yeah. I can't ever answer this question without referencing the very first book I ever read, cover to cover. Let me back up off my desk. It makes my screen shake. Trying to be lean. I'm leaned in. Yeah, the very first book I ever read that, from cover to cover, that changed my life was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah, that just wrecked my thinking as a, it's probably 27-year-old. Just opened my mind to so many different things. From there, it really became a series of books that taught me how to deal with people. So the How to Win
Mm,
Friends and Influence People. I think that was Dale Carnegie.
mhm.
Um, Man, just trying to think of some of those early books again that really shaped my thinking. I mean, Think and Grow Rich. but that's a watered down version of the 16 Laws of Success. So if you're not familiar with that, or your listeners aren't familiar with that, that is like the guide, the ultimate guide. Napoleon Hill, before they chopped it up into Think and Grow Rich and 16 Laws of Success. Of course, the Bible, that keeps me grounded, those principles. And then there's 66 books in the Bible, right? So I love Proverbs, the book of wisdom. You can always go there and get checked really quick. And then, man, I'm looking around my desk, now being in the financial space, one of the books that I'm now talking a lot about is What Would the Rockefellers Do? Which is a book about, how they were able to build wealth and be their own bank and those kind of things. And so, so it's probably more than 5. So forgive me.
No, please. The better, the more, the merrier. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
That is such a beautiful share. Which leads me to my next question, Ryan.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what does it mean to be a human without conditions?
Ooh, you got deep quick. Yeah, what does it mean to be human without conditions? Yeah, I mean, again, I referenced the Bible earlier, and as I think about this question, I think about going back to the days of when, man was created, right? Without condition, right? Just placed here in the garden, the freedom of everything except, this one tree, if you're a Bible reader. And the goal was to be present, right? To be here, to be one, to be connected, to the oneness, to the spirit, to the universe, to his surroundings, with the freedom to leverage this creation called the earth, for his desires, right? And at that point, man was, again, it was pure, right? And so to me, human without condition is just that, right? It is present, without the influence of media, right? As I mentioned earlier, I believe that's our greatest enemy, right? Is media. Without the influence of expectations of others, and really living with the intention of the purpose we were put here for, right? I mean, we were called human beings, not human doings, right? And I think we spend our life and we measure our success and productivity and worthiness by the doing. But I think we're just called to be, and that takes work, right? I want to. That's not your question. Your question is, what does it mean? So I think it means to just be, to be who you are, to be in the moment, to be in the presence, to be still, to be quiet, to hear, to be conscious, and then from there, there's of course life has its doings. But I think the doing should come as a result of understanding our being.
Thank you. You said something I was very, very, I'm actually curious about. You said that takes work. What does that mean to you? Can you point some light on that?
Yeah. We live in a very busy, noisy world. And that's why I also said media, I think is one of our biggest enemies, right? And it's a distraction. It is this, $1 trillion machine that is designed to have us behave in a certain way. And in most cases, it isn't for the benefit of our own good. It's for the benefit of someone else's good, right? And so the work becomes, how do you, deprogram? How do you separate yourself from this machine, right? That's all around us. And so there's some disciplines, and the work is just that. It is the discipline of saying, okay, again, it's just me speaking, right? All right, 30 minutes of TV, all right, that's enough, right? Or, I've been down this scroll rabbit hole long, all right, that's enough, right? That's the work, right? Because it can take you far down, and then you look up and it's like, man, I've been doing, I haven't been being. And so the work, I think, becomes, how do I stay present? How do I have the awareness that when I am distracted, when I am off course, when I'm not being my best self, that awareness, then now how do I get back connected? You probably heard me say, like my mom used to say all the time, like, Ryan, you can let a bird land in your hair, but you don't have to let it make a nest, right? And so that's awareness. Okay, ooh, a bird is there. So either you shoo it away, or you just next thing you know, you got a family living in your head, right? Again, just an analogy. But yeah, I think that's the work. Is how do you avoid the distractions? Having your own agenda for your life, right? If you don't have a plan for your life, someone else does, right? And they could be very well intended, but the days, weeks, months, years go by, and you've spent that time building someone else's dream, and you look up and it's like, man, where did the time go? So, yeah, I think it's really a function of discipline.
Thank you. I appreciate that reflection. That leads me to my next question. We're going to play like an imaginative game right now. So,
Okay.
Wanu and Ryan are in a room right now, and 5-year-old Ryan walks into the room. What would you tell him?
Mm. To be others focused. Um, and by that, from a service perspective, to not be so focused early on what, again, the world media would say are successes, right? It's begin to focus on living a life, leading, serving other people, which then helps to shape who you become. Because the first 25 years of my life was all about Ryan, right? It was so focused on just what I wanted, the acquisition of things, and a lot of fun, but not very purposeful. So I would say to look around, at the needs and opportunities around you, and begin to develop the skill sets to serve in those capacities.
Thank you. This leads me to my next question. So, how does compassion and kindness show in Ryan's life every day, and how does that ripple in other people's lives around you?
Yeah, I would say first and foremost, I'm conscious of that in the mornings when preparing my boys for school. 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, Isaiah and Austin, and I don't know if I read it or heard it somewhere that how you send them out into life in the morning determines the rest of their day, and so really being intentional. Sometimes they're slow to move, slow to get up, right? You got to trying to rush and get out the door. So I try to be conscious and aware, to be compassionate, to show them love and kindness, to set them up for a good day. And we just had their teacher parent conferences, and the feedback is always how kind they are, and
Oh,
I
wow.
can think about imagine from experience and actually seeing it, how other kids may leave home, and may not respond the same way when they get to school. So I think it's reflects in, just right there in my own home with my 2 boys and how we send them out into the world.
My last question. So we all have peak and valley moments in our lives. So when Ryan is going through a valley moment, do you have any quotes that helps you navigate that valley moment?
Um, Not a quote, but I'll say a principle or concept,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that principle or concept is seasons. And I learned again from a mentor long ago that life is a series of seasons, and the sooner you're able to understand that and navigate those seasons, not so much the easier, but the simpler life becomes, right? Because you can expect it. If we just had summer and my yard was clear, your grass was green, I know the fall is coming. So it would not make sense for me to be mad and upset that the grass is brown and is now full of leaves, right? Because I know the season is coming. I know the weather is going to get cooler. We're going into winter. It's going to get cold. It might even snow. So to be mad that the sun isn't out and it's 90 degrees doesn't make sense. So when you can think about life the same way, and if you continue that cycle, guess what? Summer's coming back around and the grass is going to be green again, right? And so so it's the same way in life. You know, there's going to be good. It's the sum of good and bad, up and down, negatives and positives, and again, all of that is also how you frame it, right? It doesn't have to be bad. I also think a circumstance is simply a circumstance, right? How we view it, respond to it, is what makes it negative or positive, right? That the situation itself is just that, and so these situations and opportunities that come into our life, I often say I can endure anything that I know is soon to come to an end, right? And I don't know anything that I've dealt with all my life other than being black and male, right? Other than that, challenges come and they go, and so yeah, not a quote, but this concept of seasons, and these seasons of life, these hills and valleys, these peaks, and when you can understand that those are cycles, you just ride them, and you take opportunities where you can, you digress where you need to, and gear up when you need to for the next round.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your light.
Yes.
Thank you for your ripple. I truly, truly appreciate you, Ryan. And for every beautiful human listening to this, when it gets dark, when it gets confusing, come back to compassion and kindness for yourself.
Yes. Very good.